To create high quality surfaces in CAD, you have to understand what continuity means and how it's used, and in this video we will discuss everything that you need to know, so let's dive in. And the following lesson is just one module out of my new free surface modeling introduction course for beginners, and this course covers all the basics and fundamentals, ensuring you excel in surface modeling. Starting with explaining NURBS and CAD, you will dive into the key principles of continuity and tangency. Through hands-on exercises, you will master surface modeling techniques by modeling objects like a shampoo bottle and cylinder connections. Additionally, you will get mindset training to tackle complex projects and solve common problems like smoothing surfaces and working with lofts. And as a grand final, there's a special section on how to model a product design from scratch with all the learnings. So enroll in this free course today and start your journey in surface modeling with plasticity. So check out the first link in the description box next to the video, and now let's dive into this tutorial. In our continuity part, again below this video you can download this file. We have this thing here, right? So you see those three instances, which are two curves, are always the same. Just the first one, G0, looks similar, but it is connected. So again, press just one, just follow, and just take this point and drag that out, right? So now we don't have G0. Now we just have two curves. So they are not connected. But again, in surface modeling, we always want to connect things, either curves or surfaces most of the time. So a G0 would be, again, it's no smoothness. G0 just means connected. So if we would take a point, it's go to this point, and it's important, press Control click so you snap to it. So you see it's a green point, so it's connected. And what does that mean? So that means if we now join those curves, so just select both of them and press J, you see now we have two curves. And if we press J, we are connecting them. So now we have just one curve. And now again, if we press E and extrude this, you see we have a very super hard edge here, and nothing is smooth, we don't have a curve, nothing. We just have one face and the other face, and they are just connected at this point, but not in a smooth way. Okay, now let's go to G1. So again, we have two curves and we want to connect them. So the best way is, again, what we did in the beginning, select both points and press L for loft. And let's go with G1. So here again, just very important, at this point, right? So at the end of this curve just doesn't go here directly to this point. It first creates this G1 control point. So our blue curve, so our loft, our curve between those curves is first kind of going a little bit into that direction. So somewhere here. And then it starts to curve, and the same at the bottom, right? So again, and what that means is if we press OK, so again, this is G1. It's a very simple, smooth connection. And if we select them and press, so we have three curves, and so we have three curves, and if you press join, we have one curve. Now do the same, extrude it, and just to this point with Control click, and now so those surfaces are connected in a tangent way. So G1 just means, so as we saw, it's tangent, it's one point. But you see, we have a nice smooth connection, but you see it's not perfect at all. So we see this very hard break. So you will see it even better if we go now to G2. So G2, again, press 1 and connect those points and press L. And this time you see it's again G2, but this time again it's one point and a second point. So this curve goes even more tangent to our first initial curve. So press OK, join those three curves in edge mode and extrude them again. And here, bam. So you see from this angle, you see this second one. Just look at this edge here. You see this looks, so the shading is much more smoother. So it's like much more blurred than here, because you see, so at G1, it's still tangent, so it's still smoothly connected, but it's not a very high quality connection. So we just achieved that they are smoothly connected, but it's not perfect. So you see it because it's not very smooth here, the shading. Whereas G2, it's like almost perfect. So G2, so here we have a real smooth or curvature, so or a smooth connection, or we have curvature. Whereas here we have just tangency. Again, not so important in the beginning to learn all of those different terms, but G1 is tangency, G2 is curvature. Then we have G3, so let's have a look. So G3 is called acceleration or curvature, like in a higher degree, but again, not so important. What's important is that you just see it. Again, select those points, L, loft, and this time G3. So you see now it's even 3 points, and you see at the beginning this curve is the same direction as our initial curve. So if we select those curves and join them and extrude and extrude them out, let's check out the quality here. And yeah, what can I say? You see it. So G1, we see this ugly thing here. So it's not ugly, but yeah, you mean. So G2 is already very, very good. But you still see, I don't know if it's showing here with the recording settings and the bit rate, but we have a little bit of, yeah, I don't know what it's called, like this shading thing where we can see where this curve starts. Whereas here G3, it's just as it would be one surface, right? So let's check out a different angle. So maybe somewhere from here. So yeah, here you see it again, right? So here it's this shading issue, not an issue, but it's not super smooth. This is already very smooth, and G3 is obviously as it would be one original curve. And to illustrate that, let's do this. So let's kind of just rebuild this curve, right? So if you remember, those were two curves separate, and we just connected them with a loft, G3 loft. But what if we just take here a control point curve and we just kind of create one curve? And okay, let's maybe just adjust a little bit those points. And again, just to get the point here. So we have now one curve. So we didn't had any, how is it called? We didn't had any interruptions, right? And again, if we extrude now this curve and we check our shading here, bam, you see there is not really a difference between G3 and our one perfect curve. So you could call it G4 if you want, kind of, right? So yeah, we have those very important things. And now to illustrate that even more, because sometimes maybe you saw, again, I don't want to go too deep, but I think now it will just illustrate it perfectly. So if you go here, right click, you have those zebra materials. Bam. So this one doesn't say us anything because they look all the same, but the second one, and now if you rotate it a little bit around, like this zebra stripes, in this example, I don't know, we would have need those zebra stripes a little bit smaller. They're too big, and would be nice to have like an option to adjust the settings here. But okay, look, so what's important to understand? The zebra stripes just show us what we see here in a much better way. That's why in my tutorials and my courses, we just check oftentimes with zebra, because here G1, you see we have this black line and then it starts to curve. But here, this is exactly what I mean. You see, it's a very hard connection, like transition between this surface where we have those lines, and then it starts to go right into our other surface, but it's very abrupt. So this is G1. So that just means they are connected. So G1 just means it has to be connected, but not in a good way. So because G0, you see we don't have any connection. And G2 is the same. So again, we have this black and white lines, which just show our top surface. And then it starts to break into this surface. But you see this point is already much smoother than this one. So also the same here. So we have this nice connection, but it looks already much, much, much better than this super hard, sharp angle. So, of course, the same here for G3 and our perfect curve, because here you see it now even better. G3, so again, this is G2, and this looks smooth, but we have a little bit of an angle. So G2 is even better, so also you see it here, so it's just already kind of one line. But here G4, or just one curve, you see it's literally just one stripe, even though we have surface transition. So again, this is advanced, especially as a beginner. You just in general, guys. So when we will go through our practices and exercises, we will not, because this is anyway just an introduction, and also you guys. So I just wanted to show it to you that you understand what those different numbers means, but you absolutely don't need to think about later when you practice, work on your own projects, go through courses and tutorials and stuff. You don't have to think about G2 and G3. I see it all the time in my community, in Discord, in YouTube. Like absolute beginner, they try to create something with G2 and G3, but they don't even understand how to set up curves and faces in a correct way, so you can get high quality tangency. Because in 95% of the cases, you will work with G1. So G2 and G3 is, yes, it's better quality, but it's harder to set up in most cases. And you have to need a much better understanding, and it's only used like in the professional industry. Like if you're just doing that as a hobby, or just for yourself, or even as a freelancer, and you will render then your models, if you don't have absolute perfect reflective surfaces, you don't need most of the time G2 or G3. So don't think about G2 and G3, especially as a beginner, and master first of all, like how to, just the basics of surface modeling. So what we will cover in this course, what I want to teach you, and I hope you enjoyed it and all that kind of stuff. But you need G1. You don't need G2 and G3. I see it all the time. People, absolute beginners, they want to do like the best things, and they just want to skip 50 other steps that they first have to learn before go to G2 or G3, okay? So just very important advice, tip, I don't know how to call it. And now in the next module, guys, so in the next part of the course, we will go through some surface modeling exercises and practices, because this was kind of theory, but now we will just use some very basic, simple, real-world examples. and exercises and use this knowledge, what we just learned, and apply it to something more tangible, something more real, and just warm up a little bit and have some fun. So see you in the next module. And if you found that lesson helpful and you want to learn more about surface modeling, check out my free course with over 40 modules explaining everything about surface modeling that you need as a beginner. So sign up today with the first link in the description box next to the video, and I hope I can see you in there. Have a nice day. Bye.